Hello everyone, I am here in beautiful Candidasa, Bali, and it's about time that I share what happened to us on our first night in Seminyak, Bali. We did a bunch of things wrong on Friday night and it caused us to get mugged. I do believe that it happened to teach us a lesson, and we definitely learned a lot from it, and in the end no real harm was done. On the first night, I don't know if it was just because we were just so carefree with our friends having so much fun, but we didn't just think anything through really. So it was about 3 in the morning, maybe 3:30 in the morning, we finally decided to leave La Favela, the bar club that we were at, and we were feeling pretty good. I was actually slightly less drunk than Scott, for like, that usually doesn't happen, it's usually the other way around. We were trying to find like the fastest way to walk home, because really everything is in walking distance. What we failed to realize was that taking the dark alleys at 3 in the morning when drunk was a bad idea. So long story short, we were almost home, but had kind of been going in a loop. We were looking on Google Maps and I thought I was leading us the right way, but we never hit like go from A to point B, click directions. We never did that. We just kept like, oh, this is home and this is where we are, this is where we need to go. I was doing it wrong, and then Scotty kind of got upset that I couldn't figure out Google Maps. Like, oh, you need to figure this stuff out, which is true. I do need to figure it out, and I have since then. So he took the phone and went off a little bit in front of me. So just because this happened, it doesn't mean it was his fault at all, or my fault. It was both of our faults. So he was, let's say, about, okay, maybe 40 feet in front of me. We were both just kind of walking, kind of over walking, and but doing okay, probably visibly drunk to an outsider, especially Scotty. And then these two gals pull up on a scooter or a motorbike, and they look so friendly, very nice, and they just come up to me. She's like, oh, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm fine. They're like, is that your boyfriend? And I was like, yeah, that's my boyfriend. Like, we're okay. We're just going home. And I thought genuinely, like, oh, the locals here are so nice, and they are. So I was just assuming, you know, she's looking out for me, just one girl trying to make sure another girl gets home safe, and that the man walking in front of me wasn't trying to do me any harm. So I was like, oh, this is great. These girls are so nice. And then they circled up to Scotty and drove up, and then I don't really remember if they said anything to him or not. And then they came back to me, and then again they're like, are you sure? Are you okay? Do you need a ride? Like, is that your boyfriend? I was like, yeah, like, that's my boyfriend. Everything's okay. And then they started to circle back to Scott, and then they just did a U-turn and came back to me. And then again for the third time, and by this time I was kind of starting to be like, there's something odd about this girl. So one of them was driving, she didn't really say anything to me at all, she was just driving, and the one on the back was the one talking to me. And yeah, I started to get a weird feeling by the third time she came back. And by the third time she came back, it was too late. So she came back, is that your boyfriend? Where are you going? And then before I even knew it, she took a locket that was around my neck and just snatched it. The chain broke and she snatched it right off my neck, and then off she went. You might be thinking, oh, it's just a locket, it's just a necklace, it's replaceable. And you are correct. However, the locket meant a lot to me. 2 months ago, we lost our cat, Griff, who meant a lot to us. He was like our best friend. We had to put him down shortly before we moved and started this adventure. Just one day, suddenly, he just was in respiratory distress, just declined very fast, and we had to put him down by the end of that day. It was a very, very, very hard time for us. It was a hard loss, but we mourned it, we got over it, not got over it, I don't think I'll ever get over it, but we were in a much better place. And so before we left, we'd gotten him cremated, and I was like, you know what, I want to be able to take him with us, but like, that's kind of weird to just take your cat's ashes with you. I bought a really nice locket, this one here that you've probably seen in my earlier videos. And that locket is a cool little bullet, and you screw it open, and inside were Griff's ashes, just a little portion of Griff's ashes. So to me, they were a token of just bringing him with us, having him close to my heart, He will be always, but I just wanted, you know, a little physical part of him with us. And I also saw it kind of as a safety, like kind of like a dream catcher, if you will, just a little superstitious. He'd keep us safe. So unfortunately, that was the locket that the Ladyboy, she took. So it felt like losing him all over again. Like as soon as I realized that she snatched it off, I was just like, that's my fucking dead cat that you took. And it's just sad to me because it was a $20 piece of jewelry, so nothing real, nothing authentic. She won't be able to make any money off of it, but for me it was a huge loss, and it felt like the day we put him down was happening all over again. So Scott ran back to me and realized what happened, and we both kind of sobbed for a while. But in the end, if anything could have gotten stolen, I mean, I would have preferred the other necklace I was wearing get stolen, because that one's just an object. It doesn't have any sentimental value. But we still have our passports, we still have all of our money, we still have our phones, like everything like important, if you will, we still have. And losing that was kind of like, again, Griff's way of keeping us safe, because that taught us such a valuable lesson that like my dad said, you can't trust anyone, and I learned that the hard way. So yeah, moral of the story is, when you're in Bali, it should be safe. It generally is safe. However, maybe don't wear a lot of jewelry. Like I would usually have a ring on every finger. I don't do that anymore. I'd have my 2 necklaces, and I just really like jewelry, but I stopped wearing it after that happened. So maybe don't jazz yourself up, because even if it's cheap jewelry, they don't know that when they're driving by. They just want to see something that they can steal. And the main thing is, if you don't want anything bad to happen to you, don't get so drunk and go out. If you're gonna stay in your villa or whatever, that's great. But when you go out, you need to really be on guard. And I truly believe that like reaction time and just brain power is garbage when you're drunk. And then don't walk alone at night. It's 3:30 in the morning and it's dark. Like, yeah, you're probably thinking like, well, duh, you're lucky you didn't get more stolen, and that is very correct. So be careful out there. Don't get too drunk. Have people with you. Just get a taxi or a Grab home. They are like next to nothing. Like we probably could have taken a cab home for $3 Canadian. So just keep yourself safe, keep your things safe, and yeah. Okay, so you're probably wondering how I know for sure it's a Ladyboy. So we had talked to our friends Mike and Benny, and it had happened to them on Saturday night. So the night that we didn't make it out, they came back about the same time. The 2 of them were walking together, and they actually got jumped by her, and that's when they knew it was not a her. And then I remember having thoughts when she came back the 3rd time, being like, are you even a girl? Like it was a weird thought that came so fast in the back of my head that I didn't really remember until later, because obviously right after I had that thought was when she took it from me. So yeah, I'm like 99% sure that that was not a female, because I remember seeing big giant boobs and very deep voice. Very weird. I really didn't think we'd run into any Ladyboys until Thailand, but when in Asia, I guess. Be very mindful of yourself, your surroundings, how your body language may be seen to other people, and just don't walk in the middle of the night. I can't stress that enough. So thank you for listening to my rant. I hope that if you are traveling to Bali or to wherever, that this helps you just kind of remember that you're not invincible when you're drunk, because it's easy to forget that.